Last year, the WNBA elevates. Remember, it could have been even better. You messed it up. You messed.
All right, this is crazy since it appears that I will never be able to get my money back. The European offer made by Caitlin Clark is more than simply a potential offer. It has the potential to permanently alter the WNBA. The WNBA is in complete panic as her move to Europe appears to be getting closer. Consider it. Caitlin was going to make a huge difference. Perhaps, just perhaps, they ought to have considered treating their biggest celebrity with a little more deference, without a CC who would not even be present. I mean, I will never be able to get my money back from this. Since they are unskilled and unable to manage the WNBA, Caitlin had to deal with these individuals throughout the season. And what took place? She blasted her way past broken records like there was no tomorrow, leaving the WNBA in ruins.
Will do her best. I know she's talented, but she's not strong enough and she doesn't have enough experience right now to compete at...
Caitlin was forced to listen to these analysts. To be honest, she really needs a new beginning. A league that does not single out its best players and instead shows them how much they are valued. Because, believe me, the ongoing hostility towards her is more than enough for anyone to handle.
Nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only from...
There was nonsense about things Caitlin was doing incorrectly when, in my view, she was just playing fantastic basketball every night and avoiding the vitriol that she was receiving from everyone, not just her supporters. Here's the scoop, then. According to reports, Caitlin Clark has received an incredibly generous contract offer to play in Europe. There is more to this narrative, even if it appears that she is completely eager to accept. As you can see, Caitlin Clark has encountered numerous challenges in the WNBA, from the startling lack of appropriate help on the court to the league's total incapacity to sufficiently safeguard its best players. And that's in spite of all the praise, all the attention, and her indisputable impact on the sport. These never-ending difficulties have resulted in what may be one of the most shocking career decisions in sports history. Caitlin has finally had enough of the way the WNBA has treated her after going through hardship after hardship, and she is now making the historic choice to leave the league. To be honest, the shockwaves from her leaving might completely upend the WNBA. It's obvious that Caitlin Clark has had enough when she decides to quit the WNBA and move to Europe. Clark hasn't always received the respect and consideration that a player of her caliber genuinely deserves from the WNBA. While defending her, we've frequently witnessed opponents get away with using extreme aggression, frequently going overboard with aggressive and occasionally downright dangerous play. It seems as though the league has let these risky practices to continue. Whether it's the league's obvious indifference, the players' constant targeting, or the startling absence of security on the court.
The NBA became. Even when Jordan was ascending and the league clearly saw that was the dude, and Nike was marketing the living hell out of Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. It was still burning, man.
This is when it becomes even more bizarre. Given that Clark's simple appearance on the court attracts attention right away and increases attendance, one could even contend that the WNBA has allowed this behavior to persist. A little controversy does, after all, get folks talking, doesn't it? However, Caitlin believes that this lack of protection has gone too far. Furthermore, not much has changed in spite of the widespread indignation on social media from her fans, who have been demanding more justice, safety, and respect for their favorite athlete. It truly appears like the league was too indifferent to make the necessary changes. To be completely honest, Clark feels completely abandoned.
Making a basketball argument. You were making a basketball argument.
We're not saying
No, Andrea, I'm not going to let you do that.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to let you make it seem like Caitlin Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like a handout.
This is such a mess, man.
Her numbers... Look at her numbers comparable to the other guards that were on the team. That's all.
However, Caitlin Clark is now paying attention to her followers. She has made the courageous decision to take charge of her career by quitting the WNBA after suffering season after season of being singled out and humiliated. The league's disdain for her was simply too much for her. She has long been recognized for her extraordinary talent, unwavering commitment, and remarkable influence on the game. Clark is currently aggressively searching for a new phase of her life. And let's face it, this doesn't need to be sugar-coated. The WNBA is about to see a significant decline. And there is a very clear explanation for this. They overlooked Caitlin Clark's vital contribution to the league's success. The WNBA would immediately suffer in terms of revenue and viewership without Clark. Every time Caitlin Clark stepped on the court, everyone was watching her. She was, without a doubt, the league's main draw. Whether you were an avid basketball fan or just a casual observer.
Women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me.
As well. The WNBA faces a huge, nearly insurmountable task in filling that void following her departure. Indeed, there are other exceptionally talented athletes in the league, such as DJ Carrington and Angelry. But let's face it, they just don't have Clark's special power and endearing nature. Now, this isn't intended to downplay their abilities. Although both of them are outstanding athletes, Caitlin Clark was exhibiting extraordinary performance. Her reckless shooting prowess, ability to control games, and fierce competitiveness made her an athletic phenomenon that everyone wanted to see. She was a movement rather than merely a player. The WNBA is just now beginning to acknowledge the full extent of Caitlin Clark's influence. The league would lose many millions of dollars in ticket sales, TV deals, sponsorships, and merchandise if she left. The monetary expense will be astronomically high. And here's the worst part to make things worse. It was completely avoidable. The league had every opportunity to give Caitlin the support she so obviously needed, to safeguard her on the court, and to treat her with the dignity that she so richly earned as the league spokesperson. However, the
fact that she was getting all of that, yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her. The Indiana Fever was turning away games, and
they will now be held completely responsible for letting these problems deepen and fester. Because Caitlin's leaving is more than simply a departure, the WNBA is going to learn just how much they lost. It's a huge change that might have disastrous long-term effects on the league. What specifically was promised to Caitlin Clark in Europe? Then, take this. Nobody would be able to handle the enormous amounts being flung around. According to a number of sources, the contract she has been assured of is significantly larger than what the WNBA has ever offered. And for Caitlin, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance in the EuroLeague, where athletes are regarded like genuine kings and queens. She decided to relocate abroad because, in addition to earning a lot more money, she would be able to play less games, which would provide her more time to unwind, recuperate, and play at her very best all the time.
Viewership, which is up 400% to 40%. Between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%. Between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%. What Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5.
This is the true game changer, though. Caitlin is being given the opportunity to serve as the face of the entire league by Europe. In addition to that amazing contract, picture Caitlin entering the court as the lights go down and thousands of people chant her name loudly. You could feel the buzz in those crowded arenas, because they know that these fans are rooting for her and that the stadium will resound with every cheer from the crowd as she delivers a deep three. The EuroLeague is fully ready to make her the face of their brand and treat her like the international superstar she is. However, doesn't it feel different this time? Europe is giving Caitlin more than simply a new arena for dominance. They are making every effort to make her the world's most famous basketball player. Europe is prepared to make sure Caitlin Clark shines brighter than ever before as she prepares to start this new chapter of brilliance. With venues bursting with passionate fans who applaud and love every move she makes. Here's something much more bizarre, though. She is not alone in her noteworthy advancements. Now, other WNBA players are beginning to follow suit and search for better possibilities abroad. For instance, Melissa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell have chosen to play in China during their off-season, while Caitlin is supposedly traveling to Europe. In actuality, the WNBA's pay structure just cannot match what other overseas leagues are offering in terms of player experience and salary. As more WNBA players come to understand that playing overseas not only offers much better pay, but also far better treatment overall. This trend is expanding quickly. The decision to play globally is becoming increasingly obvious as players like Caitlin, Kelsey, and Melissa experience the indisputable benefits of playing fewer games, getting more sleep, and earning more money. It's simple to see why more players are choosing this route when you contrast the schedules, pay, and player care provided abroad. Amidst all of this, Jason Whitlock thinks Caitlin need to launch an unmatched in-season league in which the top players face off against one another during the WNBA's offseason. This would eliminate the need for athletes like Kelsey Mitchell and Melissa Smith to travel overseas in order to receive their pay. Alternatively, they may earn their money in America. Players would have better prospects in an unmatched league full of potential, and they could really create something amazing with the enormous growth in women's sport talent. There are some amazing opportunities ahead of us. They do not, however, receive the compensation they are due. Rather, they will need to rely on sponsorships to make their money. However, this unique league concept brings a whole new range to the scene. Back to the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. This significant change ought to be a huge wake-up call for women's basketball. In addition to Caitlin Clark, the league faces a significant risk of losing other elite players. The WNBA may risk a mass exodus if they don't take the initiative and thoroughly rethink how they pay and handle their players. With so much more being offered by international leagues, players no longer have to settle for less. If the WNBA wants to stop an even bigger talent drain in the future, it needs to immediately reassess its objectives. Really, Molly. It appears that the WNBA made very little attempt to retain Caitlin Clark.